Shane, welcome to the series, the new series that we have just started. I'm freaking pumped to jump into this one. We just wrapped up, I think, probably one of the most powerful for the attorneys in the attorney space, probably one of the most powerful series. It was about 14 episodes deep. So if you guys haven't listened to that, go head back and you can binge listen through it, where Shane and I dive in deep to how to build your own law firm exactly the way, Shane, that you did it. And I think that's why that matters. It's not theory. It's not, hey, these are some great ideas. This is literally like we kind of picked through what you did to build Shane Smith Law and how you did it. And really, we just laid the groundwork to, if you wanted to build a law firm doing over $20 million a year, go back and listen to those episodes, because that's literally going to get you there. So I couldn't be more excited for what we did.
I was gonna say it may not get you to 20 million, just those 12 episodes, but I think it gets you started, Trevor.
It's the foundation. At least gets you the
Certainly where I started and my journey and all the things I did, probably that first year, and learn the hard way. That's the thing, right? You just learn, but there's usually a cost associated with it in time or money.
Yep.
So.
Yep, and sometimes both.
Usually both.
Yeah, and on that. So. Well, how you doing today? How you doing?
Doing well. So it's a week before Christmas, and at the time we're recording this, so that's a good time. I'm a little bit of things in the mail, but getting excited. It's both my boys come home over Christmas. We hang out, chill, relax, get ready for the new year. Try to get everything in place to keep rocking and rolling and keep growing. So yeah, I'm doing good.
Good, man. Me too. I love this time of year. Holidays are great, like the Christmas. You got kind of kick it off with Thanksgiving, but that's really not a holiday. That's just a day you eat some food. I don't know. We don't even celebrate it commercially. You go to a store, you can't even find decorations for
That's why I actually like Thanksgiving, because it's not so commercialized.
Yeah, but it's totally families. But that's like the kickoff. You go into all the rest of the holidays, but more than just the holidays, what I love about this time of year is it's kind of the closure of the current year. And so mentally, you're kind of assessing, right? What did I do this year? Did I accomplish anything I said I was going to accomplish? And you're kind of taking that self-assessment. But then there's also this energetic newness in the first of the year is on its way.
100%. And the longer you can keep that energy of newness going, the better, right? I mean,
yeah. And I think and I don't agree with New Year's resolutions. I think they're a complete waste, and I think the way they're structurally set up, you're destined to fail. You're going to screw it up. This is why most people's New Year's resolutions fail. And we're going to give you guys some tips on how to not have that happen on some other episodes. But I also like that everyone is setting them. So the whole country, basically, or the world for that matter, is energetically vibrating at hey, this is new. Let's go accomplish something big.
And let's change some stuff, right? Yeah. Usually New Year's resolutions are either I'm going to do something, I'm going to stop doing something. But everybody's thinking about what they're going to do better, right? And that's, I love one of the events we do is the Fact Mastermind kind of deal, where you map out where you're at and you map out where you want to go the next year. That's always exciting for me. We do it quarterly usually, but the right before the new year is sort of the most exciting one, right? Because you map out usually where you want to go over the course of the year.
Yep.
And
yep.
I like it.
Yeah, it's like when you get to set those, it's like you got to be a kid again and just dream and say, okay, if I could just, execute quick, do what I need to do, and really just be who I know I want to be, what could I accomplish? Like and when we talk about diving into today's concept and the new series is to kind of introduce that, it's really on what do you, I would say, let me tell you about the whole series in general first, right? It's when you're stuck. These stuck points, these places along the way when you're saying, hey, I want to go. Let's say you're coming to the first of the year and you're like, this year, I want to grow my law firm. I want to build it into something that is really unrecognizable from what it is today. But there's been these sticking points along the way that you've already experienced and you will experience going forward that for a lot of people, if you can't find a way around it, something that looks like a speed bump to maybe you and I, Shane, looks like a big 30-foot wall to them, right? And people get discouraged and they don't know how to move forward and they don't know what to do. And so it becomes this, it's a very, it's a really cool game to navigate if you can start to view it as the growth of your firm and your life for that matter is really a game. There are rules to the game, and the way you decide to play the game is whether or not you're going to win or lose. And when I say lose, what I mean is if next year comes around and you're sitting in the same exact position, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm the same guy. My firm makes the same amount of money. Like my life is like a Groundhog's Day from what it was last year. And I know, Shane, we've talked about this, dude. That's like the most obnoxious place you can.
Oh, it's one of the worst spots for me. I mean, being the same as, I mean, almost worse than taking a hit, right? Because when you take a hit for whatever reason, it's like, screw you guys, I'm coming back, right? And you've got some energy of getting back and you know where you were at. So it seems easier versus when you get stuck and you lose all momentum. And honestly, most of us buckle down and just push harder. And sometimes that works, but a lot of times it doesn't. I mean, and you and I have talked about it. Once you cross somewhere between 2 and 4 million in revenue, it's harder to just work. It's hard to work harder and move the needle.
Yep. Well, you have to work different harder. Yeah. So it's not that hard work goes away. It's that it's totally different from what you did tactically to get to that point. And that's a huge stick point, right? When you find those levels, it's like, wait a second. I've done this before, and I got this great result. I was rewarded by growth. And now all of a sudden I'm doing the same thing, and I'm not rewarded by the growth anymore. Right. And it's so frustrating because then you kind of feel dumb, right? Realistically, there's been many times in business I feel dumb, even though we're doing well. But I'm like, am I really that dumb guy? I'm the dumb. Yeah.
But it's because the ads, right? You look at the ads and like, oh, let me teach you this one technique and it's going to double your law firm. Or you see the ads, double your law firm in 12 months. Or, we're going to triple your law firm. Or run this one ad and your leads are going to go up by 3-fold or whatever. And if you buy into all that kind of stuff, that just one technique's going to fix everything, then you feel stupid, right? Or, or you hang out with other people and they're talking about how easy it is. And we all know Instagram is the highlight reel and it's not the day-to-day grind. So we compare their highlight reel to your day-to-day grind and you feel bad. And, so it happens.
It does. And I think there's you have to accept that. Accept that you're going to feel that way. But now what do you do with it, right?
Well, and I think part of that, though, is the key to be with groups of people who are all focused on growing. So because every group I've ever been in, there's never really been any judgment like, hey, you're an idiot.
Right.
It's like, hey, I figured this out the hard way. Let me give it to you the easy way.
Yes.
And then people just graciously accept it and move on. And maybe they make a tweak. But there's not a lot of judgment in those good groups.
No.
Now, I'm sure there isn't some crappy groups, right? I mean, those would be groups I'm not a part of. And groups that I'll go one time and be like, screw you guys.
Yeah.
But good groups surrounded by peers and people who are all focused on one thing, you share stuff so you can skip some steps and nobody calls anybody an idiot, right? I mean, that's...
No. The only time I've ever found somebody who literally kind of calls those shots and makes fun of people and makes you feel dumb are people who are beneath you in the ladder.
Yeah.
They just are. Like when you are really in the grind, you appreciate someone who's also in the grind. When you're really in the growth and that's what you want to do, regardless of the level you find yourself at, right? You look down at somebody who maybe is just starting out, right? And they just opened their firm a year ago. You don't look at them like, well, what an idiot. They don't understand marketing. You're like, oh, that's awesome. They're learning that lesson I learned 15 years ago. Hey, let me tell you, here's something that's going to help.
Right.
I'm going to save you 5 years of your life. Do this. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, I was at a seminar that I paid money to go to, and I had 2 young guys, and they're talking, and it comes up that you're not I'm not a small firm anymore, and they're like, oh, what's the best advice you would give us? I'd say, you need to join a coaching group, a mastermind group. You need to be around some people who want to grow. Yep. Don't just silo yourself where it's just the 2 of you guys never talking to anybody, because you guys can only give each other so many good ideas and so many crappy ideas because you're together all the time.
Yep.
Trying to build your firm. Go find some different groups. Go find, join a coaching program, invest in it. And they're like, oh, dude, that's great. I never thought about that. I didn't. They're like, I didn't even know there were coaching programs for law firm owners. Well, there are. Go join one. Listen to somebody, or take somebody with a bigger firm out to lunch. Maybe they'll go with you.
There's ways. Yeah, there's definitely ways to get in that circle. But I think it comes down to, and what I want to hit on today is, it's a decision to grow.
It is.
Growth is not something that accidentally happens, right? The story you've heard about a firm that accidentally grew is 1 in a billion. Could it happen? For sure. There are unicorns out there, obviously. That's why they make movies about them and they do all these things, right? But we're talking about you and me, the normal everyday guy or gal, and we're saying, okay, you've got to choose to grow. Shane, that sounds so simple. When I say it, I'm like, well, duh. Of course I need to choose to grow. I got to make a decision to grow. But what are we really talking about there when we say a decision to grow?
And I totally agree 100%, right? You have to choose, I'm going to grow, right? And so it takes away even the, hey, I want to get bigger next year. It's whatever. It's, I'm going to get bigger next year, right? Whatever your growth metric is, I'm going to make more money. I'm going to get a bigger firm. I'm going to grow. I do agree as a decision. But what you normally have to do then is decide, okay, what is keeping me from growing, right? What is that bottleneck? And sometimes it's not that easy, right? Like I was at a spot in the story or the belief I had was that I couldn't find good attorneys. And that was my story. And regardless of whether it was true or not, and I'd struggled to find some. I wasn't able to replace some people. I wasn't able to add on. I couldn't find it. But as long as I had the story that I couldn't find good employees or that belief, it was a reason why I wasn't growing. Mm-hmm. And I had an event. I got excited. I was like, screw this. I'm going to grow, dadgummit. Next year, I'm going to crush it. Right? And I laid out a 2-year plan. And I said, we're going to grow. And I came back and I said, hey, I no longer want to hear this garbage about we can't find good employees. I want a solution. I want some other thing or some other options versus what we're doing right now. Because what we're right now isn't getting us the new people. But I want to know what we've got to do to get over this hurdle, to find new attorneys. Give me more options. Give me more things we're going to do. Give me a plan. And I came back and said, I no longer want to hear this. So let's solve the issue. And out of that conversation with my CEO, we brought in an in-house recruiter who managed all of our Indeed ads. We doubled or tripled our Indeed budget. We started doing some other things. And with that in-house recruiter, that was her primary job, is to manage your Indeed ads, to schedule those interviews, to ramp through some stuff. And as soon as that happened, what it allowed us to do then is it increased all of our bandwidth. It increased the number of applicants. It increased everything. And we were able to, and suddenly that story collapsed, right? The story that we couldn't find anybody collapsed and was proven false. And it all came down to identifying what I thought was holding us back, or what I believed was holding us back, and why, and then disproving that story, right? Saying, I no longer believe this anymore. I believe that me, Shane Smith, who runs the firm, is making some bad decisions that are feeding this story. So if I no longer believe it, what are my actions need to be? How do I overcome this? And breaking that one thing is what allowed us to continue to grow again. As soon as I didn't believe that we couldn't find new people, we started finding new people. I mean, now we were spending more money on ads. We were spending more personnel recruiting people, but we were doing all these things. Suddenly we found good people and we were able to grow again.
Yeah.
So whatever your belief is that's holding you and keeping you from growing, that's what you need to solve. And by isolating it, and what's bad is, honestly, Trevor, sometimes I've come in with blocks and talked to you, and you point out, hey, in 15 minutes, hey, this is what your issue is, dude. What story is leading you to believe that? I list 2 or 3 things, and you're like, is all that true? Mm-hmm. Well, I sort of think it's true, but if it's not true, what would I have to do? And then boom, and in 15 minutes, right now, everything's not that simple, obviously. No. But sometimes it is, and like. The key for me, like I say, was I was at an event and I started thinking about the future, like our Fat Mac Mastermind, and I was like, oh crap. I came back and I said, we're growing this year. We're going to spend some money. We're going to break through this hurdle. We're going to grow. And that decision alone, that certainty I had, and that decision I'm no longer want to hear, we can't find good people, allowed us to move to the next step. Yeah. So it could be you're not getting enough leads. You can't find good people. Your margins are too tight on your cases. Your average case value is too small. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that could be that you believe is keeping you from growing. But you can map it out and start attacking those.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that is the hardest is I don't think anybody listening, I don't think you or me it's not that we don't know what to do. That is a cop out. That is a weak thought process of, I don't know what to do. The more realistic thought process there is, I do know what to do, but I'm unwilling to even look at it because I don't know what would happen if I did it.
Yeah, or I'm not willing to endure the pain that costs me, right?
Correct. Right? You look at it from, you were talking about the personnel, right? You look at it from a personnel side, and you're like, the pain that would cost to make the personnel switch, I have been unwilling to go down that road. Why? Because I just don't want to have to deal with it. And so instead of that thing, and that could be a key person in a key role that, man, that is the roadblock. And so instead of dealing with that short-term pain, you'll deal with it like this, like a rock in your shoe, and you just leave it there all day. And by the end of the day, your foot hurts like hell, and you're like, why does my foot hurt so bad? This sucks. And it's like, well, hey, dipshit, if you'd taken the 5 minutes to untie your shoe, take your shoe off, find the rock, kick it out, put it back on, yeah, you would have been delayed in that 5 minutes, but overall, throughout the day, it would have been a completely different experience. But all too often, dude, it's so – I think there's two parts. We just don't want to look at it out of fear, right, of what could be if we actually did something. I think the other one is ego. I don't sometimes want to look at it because it's saying that I'm doing something wrong. And you have to admit it. You have to accept the fact that, hey, I'm not perfect. And I know I can't be alone in this, that's been a problem, right? Sometimes you're like, shit, I don't want to admit that I made a mistake, that this was a bad idea. This decision to not do something or to do, like, I structurally built this system this way and it's not working. Well, shit, I don't want to admit that. So I'm just going to keep doing it, even though it's the very thing that is holding me back, because it can't be me. I'm the unicorn here. I don't make mistakes. And so I think those two things become this weird dichotomy that almost exists before it's looking at, okay, I actually need to make the move. There is the thing that I'm avoiding that would change everything.
And I want to go back to where you said, the idea that, I don't know something, right? I don't know what to do, or I don't technically have some kind of expertise. I totally agree. That's usually a cop-out, right? I mean, for most things, I mean, lawyers are smart folks, right? I mean, we're all really smart. I mean, you can't go to college and then go to law school and and pass the bar and be an idiot, right? I mean, so, and the reason I say that is because, I mean, unless you're getting super, super technical, like on managing AdWord budgets or managing SEO, there's not a lot of stuff we couldn't figure out in 8 hours and get a baseline and start doing it, right? I mean, now, are you going to be perfect? No. Are you going to be an A player in this area? No. But in 8 hours, I could find a vendor I trusted to write copy. In 10 hours, I could find somebody who I trusted to write SEO on my website. I mean, in a day's worth of work, I could find a vendor. I could vet a vendor to do this, or I could get a brief overview of how to do something pretty quick and easy. Yep. I mean, 8 hours is a long time on YouTube nowadays finding stuff, not to mention courses and supplement everything out there. So I need to learn more is usually a cop-out that says, I don't want to do the work, or I don't want to bear the pain to do it.
Yep, 100%. Well, we've got a client right now that I just love this man dearly, but the but is not about me loving him. It's about the frustration I get when he tells me he's made the decision to grow, and then his actions tell me something different. And this one, he's specific with an employee he needs to hire, and I have never watched somebody drag their feet and find more reasons why not to hire someone when he knows like, I've never seen it before. This dude is a magician. He is magical at not doing the thing. But he's taking action, but it's all this weird action like what you're describing. It's like going and learning new stuff and all this stuff. I'm all, dude, just hire them. Like, what are we doing here? Like, just get them in there, and you're going to learn. You'll figure all the rest of these things that you're spending all this time not actually taking action. So I think from him as the example, like he's made a decision vocally, but what you have to understand is the vocal decision is the first side, right? You've determined what you want. You've determined you want growth, and you're like, okay, you're raising your hand. I want to grow. Great. That's awesome. But then you have to marry it up with the action. Even once you have decided what's the thing that I've been avoiding that I need to change, that's going to change everything, it's going to open it up for me right now. Once you've even identified that, that's great. But if all of that does is leads to you to doing more inaction, then you actually haven't made the decision. You actually haven't identified the thing you're avoiding. You're just playing around with yourself.
Well, and that's where it comes in. I mean, I hate to even say it, but like having coaches and having people around you, you can at least tell the action to, right? Like I tell you some stuff. I tell my wife some stuff. I tell my CO some stuff. And sometimes I tell everybody the same damn thing, so that hopefully in a week or two when I haven't done it, one of y'all will be like, Shane, dude, what are you doing? Right?
Yep.
And sometimes it's all of y'all will tell me, what the hell are you not doing? And it's like, oh, geez, I really need to do that. And why am I so not wanting to do it all?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of deal.
100%.
So I'll tell people,
Yeah, well, I was saying it brings that accountability, right?
It does.
Sometimes it's not even that you need their advice. You just need to tell them so that you now know they know. And then you're like, I got to do the thing because they know that I know that they know. And if I don't do it, then I have to come to them and say, I didn't do it.
Oh, yeah. I've done that. I've done where we did check-ins, right? Like every Monday, with this is what I'm going to do. Next Monday, did you do what you said you were going to do last week? No. Well, why the hell not?
Yep.
I've also done groups where there was a penalty, right? And, I had one guy, he taught me this years ago, 15 years ago. He said, hey, if there's something really holding you up and you own your own business, tell somebody and say, hey, if I don't do this by this date, I'm going to burn a $100 bill. Now, I'm not recommending destroy U.S. currency. That is no way legal advice whatsoever. This is just what somebody recommended to me. And most business owners will be like, dude, there's no way I could burn that. Let me just donate it to a cause, donate it to a political opponent I don't like. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. It's got to be destroyed, worthless, so you got nothing out of it. Because if I just donate money to a charity, well, I can be like, okay, whoop-de-doo, I didn't do my thing, but at least I saved some cast lives.
Exactly.
Right? And that's why that he recommended just setting it on fire, because he said, you'll only do it once. He said, after that, you'll never do it again.
Well, and it's simple, and we got to create these games for ourselves. But I think as we wrap up, I want to give you guys an action item off of today's episode of what you can actually go and do. And it's very simple. We talked about it for the last 20 minutes. First thing, step one, write down what is one decision you're avoiding. And you've been avoiding it. You won't have to search hard and far for this. This will be something.
No, that's the decision that's keeping you from growing, right, Trevor?
Yep. That decision. You know it, you see it, and you're like, if I just hired that person or fired that person or started the marketing campaign or started the emails, or I don't care what it is. Everybody's got maybe it's putting systems in place. Maybe it's an operational side, but it's the thing you're like, this is the thing. So write it down. Right? Literally, I'm talking pen and paper. If you're driving, do this later when you get home. Write it down. What's the one decision that you've been avoiding that's stunting you from the growth? And then you're going to do a declarative I am statement, meaning I'm going to take care of this right now. So you're going to declare it. I want you to literally look in the mirror. I want you to go hold up your phone and look at the camera on your phone and declare, I'm going to take care of this. You want to take a step further? Do exactly what Shane's talking about. Go declare it to somebody. Go declare it to your business partner, an employee, your spouse, your friend. I don't care. Just declare to somebody, hey, I'm going to do this thing. Check in with me next month or next week, or I'm going to check in with you, however that works. And then step 3, put it in your calendar of when you're going to take the first action, and preferably this week. Like preferably it shows up in your calendar tomorrow. Right? It does. Again, it does no good to put this in your calendar, in 2028. Right? So we're putting this in our calendar right now. We're saying, hey, I'm going to do it. So you're going to write down the statement. You're going to declare that you're going to take care of this to yourself and another person. And number 3, you're going to throw it into your calendar so that you have it staring at you, on a random Tuesday, that you're going to do this item. You're going to take at least the first step. Obviously, you probably won't be able to solve the whole thing in one action, but you can take the first step towards that action. And that's it. Right? This is the first step to being able to start to grow and get your mindset ready for growth, so you can actually start doing those things. This is something that we deal with, Shane and I, on a daily basis. Shane deals with it inside of Shane Smith Law, continually with your law firm. I know that's like a constant thing that you're doing with your teams. to get them to take action on things that they're stuck in their individual departments. But with Legal Edge, we constantly are dealing with this with attorneys just like you. So if you want to dive deeper into this conversation, head over to legaledgecoaching.com, and there's a button there that you can jump in for a free deep dive conversation where we will actually kind of pull back the layers of your firm and help you see. Maybe you're struggling to figure out what is that decision. Maybe you're seeing 4 or 5 decisions and you're like, well, shoot, which one? Right? This is something we can cover on a quick 30, 45-minute call where it's free of charge. We don't charge anything for it, where we just dive in and take a look at your firm and see where are you stuck and help you come up with these action items so that you can save yourself years of struggle and really identify what's actually holding you back so that you can move forward for 2026 and actually make it the year that you want. So that being said, Shane, you got any final thoughts on this decision to grow concept?
No, other than, I mean, it seems stupid, right? I mean, you've got to make a decision to grow, but it's really a decision. Like hell or high water, next year I'm going to be bigger. And I'm going to go into it with that model, that frame, whether it's I'm going to have more revenue, I'm going to close more cases, I'm going to sign more cases. Either way, it's a decision. This is going to happen, and I don't want to hear all the crap about this thing prevents us to it, or the economy is bad, or I can't find good people, or there's no people out there. None of that. You have to be 100% committed to, I no longer believe any of those things. I'm going to solve it, and we're going to grow. And figure out what your metric is, how you're measuring that, and then attack it. But that's all. I mean, it's a decision.
Beautiful. Appreciate you guys being listeners to today's show. If you got value from today's show, give us a like, subscribe, and a share. And we'll see you in episode number 2, where we dive in deeper to the stories that are keeping you small. We'll see you next week.